bomb is activated.
Bomb's activated.
All right.
You ever played that game? Stop talking and nobody start talking. Nobody explodes.
No, what is that?
It's a game. So someone
Is this a video game?
Yeah, it's a video game, but it
sounds like a nursery game.
There's it comes with a textbook, and one person has to defuse a bomb, and there's a bunch of puzzles on it, and then the other person has to tell them how to solve each puzzle to defuse the bomb. But the person telling them to solve it can't see the bomb, and the person who's defusing the bomb can't see the answer to all the puzzles. So they're all like little tricks to fuck you up and like run out of time and the bomb explodes. Stop talking and nobody explodes. Something like that.
I think escape rooms are weird and lame.
Weird and lame. Have you done one?
No.
Okay, so that, I mean,
I was trying to think of a bar the other day. Like I felt for a second that I could make like a rap bar having to do with escape rooms, like the name escape room, and it being related to some, sort of devious activity in which you have to escape or something like that. But I'm not much of a rapper.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a rapper at all, actually.
That's probably the issue there,
But what do you think about escape rooms? Have you done an escape room?
I've never done an escape room.
What do you think about them?
That seems fun to me.
I think escape rooms, they should be more intense. They should be more fun. Like the people who run,
there should be lives at stake.
Yeah. And nobody should know the answer. That's, I think, the illusion that there's somebody watching you in the cameras,
right,
who knows the answer, and they'll egg you, or they'll like try to point you in the right direction.
But again, you have not done one.
I haven't done it. No.
So what if you go in there and it's crazy?
I also don't like axe throwing environments, and how there's establishments that are like, axe throwing establishments. Like you go out with friends or a date. There's just these like really cliche things where people are like, oh, here's some things to do on a date that's not, eating or drinking. And they talk about like escape rooms and axe throwing. Like, I'm not doing that shit. And I think it's weird.
I have to hard disagree with you, bro. Like, axe throwing sounds like a vibe to me. I've never done it, but it sounds fun. Like, I always thought of it as something that
just sounds expensive.
I would enjoy. It does sound expensive.
It sounds so expensive.
Because it sounds like, have you seen those videos? People throwing the axe and it bounces directly back at their head.
Yeah.
It's just like you sign up for something.
There's a lot of paperwork involved.
50,000 stitches. You got a new face on your first date.
Bowling is fun. Bowling is an activity. Like they're trying to make axe throwing like bowling. It's never gonna get to that level.
So I actually hate bowling.
That's the lamest take.
I hate bowling.
So far of this podcast, that's the lamest take.
Bowling is the corniest thing to me.
I love bowling. And it's so fun. It's such a vibe to
the only thing I like about bowling is those little cutscenes. Yeah, man. So, but yeah, bowling, mid activity. I prefer mini golf.
Mini golf is fun.
Bowling is for like meatheads to act like they have skill. Like you just throw hard. There's no finesse.
Yeah, I do agree. Like,
and then you got guys spinning it and it's like going to the side and then towards the middle. Someone tell me what value there is in that. Why? Who cares that the ball is curving on the way? What is that doing? Is that making it go faster? It doesn't seem like it goes faster.
I think it's working with the angle that the ball comes at the pin to optimize your chances for a strike. I like bowling.
Yeah, I mean,
as an activity, I be wanting to go bowling. It's fun, like get drunk. Have like get like ketchup on your fingers and like sauces from wings, and then stick your fingers in the bowling ball.
That's devious, bro.
Go back to the wing and lick the sauce off the wing.
Holy shit!
It's the best.
What? I don't know if I understood that correctly, but it sounded like you started coronavirus. Did you do that? Did you stick your fingers in the hole and then lick them after?
No, I've never been to Wuhan, China.
That's what I thought you said. I thought you said you.
I've never been to Wuhan, China. Did they ever discuss like how coronavirus started?
They did. I was talking to this about to one of my coworkers the other day.
Was it
That it was
researched?
like, yeah, it was confirmed to come out of a lab. Like,
no way.
yeah, like they were researching viruses and like just up to no good, and it just like one of them got sick and they spread it.
Corona was a time, is a time.
5
Crazy
years,
time.
5 years gone.
It's insane.
It's almost like down to the day.
Right, it was
5 years ago.
time,
they like
March.
announced it. Hey, you guys can't go anywhere. No one can go anywhere.
Insane. How many people passed away?
What are the final numbers on that?
I don't know. It's
Huge.
got to be millions.
Millions, yeah.
Millions of people just wiped out of this earth.
Yeah, I mean, it was a matter of time, and it's like the clock is ticking for the next huge kind of global event, whatever it may be.
So
it seems like like the global warming, it seems like that is just getting further and further. Like I felt like, when are those effects supposed to be?
it's funny you say that, because I don't think JFK is dead.
Is he here? Is he in the room right now? Do you see him?
So welcome back to State of Sound. So what album should we start with today? Talking about, we've got two here. Should we say like what they are at the beginning?
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be in the title and shit, right?
Right. They're going to be in the title. We got Heaven or Las Vegas
Yeah.
by the Cocteau twins.
Cockatoo twin.
Cockatoo?
I don't know. Cockatoo.
Definitely starts with cock. Cocteau twins. And we've got Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd.
By The Weeknd. Also a type of cock. So those are the two albums. So let's go Heaven or Las Vegas first.
I'm with that.
It's the older of the albums.
When did that album come out? Like 86?
90.
96?
90. 1990.
1690.
The year of 1990. Right after the 80s.
Right, the first year after the 80s.
Surprisingly, you know.
Yeah.
But you said oh shit, Monday, presidential address. That's really important.
Did you see him arguing with Zelensky?
Yeah.
What was that about?
I did. I thought it was, really interesting. It's kind of like funny.
Yeah.
Or not kind of funny. It is funny. And it's funny just to like laugh at this, like the end of America. The end of American diplomacy.
Right.
It's here, it's being live streamed. We're watching it unravel.
But
Cocteau twins, they come from an era before Trump, before the Ukrainian-Russian conflict.
Yeah.
So they're a 3-piece band, and they had a few releases, smaller releases, before the release of this album. I think this is their debut album. So what did you think about it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I didn't know this genre shoegaze until I listened to this. But I think it's a cool genre. I think it's a fun style of music. And it was really like, it just feels very uplifting kind of listening to it. It's kind of freeing, and it's just kind of like, I feel like it's fueled by vibes.
Yeah.
And it's got great vibes all over this. Like the vibe is consistent throughout, and it's great. It's a fun album.
It's a fun album. It's a happy vibe. It's a feel good album, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's joyous. It's ecstatic.
Right.
It's almost like that moment of like pure ecstasy, like
almost like, to me it feels like being on the brink of it, like kind of the moments leading up to Euphoria. And it's
Euphoria.
Like, it felt a little bit almost like it was unobtainable. You know, it's like you're right there. You can almost reach it. And
Really?
you're kind of in this limbo, but not in a negative way. It's like exactly where you want to be. Like I feel like you don't get so much resolution throughout it, if that makes sense. Like I feel like the point of it isn't resolution, but it's kind of about staying in that space of just.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know?
I see what you mean.
Because it doesn't end. It keeps on going, giving this like very bright sound.
I see what you mean. I do think that this album, the sound of it, is the moment of euphoria. Like you said, it's the moment right before euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is the moment, like the sound is just bursting.
Yeah.
Like this album is like a gusher.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just bursting with fruity flavors.
Yeah. No, and I think the the mixing of it is a big factor in that. Track 1 in Cherry Colored Funk.
Yeah.
Great introduction to the group and the album. You have these luscious guitars panned to the left and the right. And it reminds me of the guitarist in the Smiths, where like the guitar, it's like the way he plays, the way they both play, the distortion they use and the sound that it brings, it's almost like majestic, you know?
Yeah. I love that you made that comparison because the Smiths are considered a post-punk band. And I think that I too have like in the past have heard the Smiths and heard shoegaze.
Right.
Like thought shoegaze.
Yeah.
I made a playlist on Spotify where I was like inputting like shoegazy sounds and shoegazy songs that I have. And there's a few Smith songs on there.
Yeah.
But you might not listen to the Smiths and think that because it like this is a similar sound, but just like exaggerated,
right,
more heavily,
right,
altered, right.
Another layer in the music is, I mean, you can't overlook lead singer vocals.
Amazing.
Beautiful. I feel like she's closer to another instrument than she is like the lead vocalist. Like she's in there providing.
She's like a string instrument.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like a violin.
And one thing they do throughout the album, she does a lot of like call and response kind of stuff and that stuff is also panned. So you'll hear her singing in your main channels and then you'll hear her calling out from the sides. And like it really just adds depth to the melodies and to the textures. And it's like it goes back to just that it's such a wide, luscious sound coming from all directions. Mm-hmm. And it's almost overwhelming at points.
It's so spacious, so atmospheric. I felt like I was sitting in the center of like an empty stadium with the sound, like this album playing on the speakers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like so spacious, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The vocals were a highlight. I mean, it's a 3-piece band, and I feel like most of what you're hearing is just vocals and guitar.
Yeah.
There's bass, but I feel like it's mainly vocals and guitar. And she sounds blissful. She sounds ethereal. Her name is Elizabeth Fraser. Let's give some respect to Elizabeth Fraser.
Shout Elizabeth Fraser. How is she doing? Is she good? I'm sure she's doing all right.
I don't know, but I do know that her and one of the other band members, I think the guitarist, they were in a relationship. And their ending of the relationship is what led to like the fallout of this band. So like they like by the early 2000s they were, you know, disbanded. And they had a planned reunion in like 2005, I think, but she called it off. She's like, I can't be around him.
Well,
you know.
Well, one thing I want to say about these songs, I don't know what they're about.
Yeah, you don't know what she's saying.
Yeah. And I did try to look up lyrics and
there's no point.
Yeah, it was.
There's I don't know where you were looking at the lyrics, but there was a couple times where the page I was looking at had lyrics and then in parentheses another possible lyric with a question mark.
Right, right.
She's saying either one of these.
Yeah, it could be
You know?
mush them together and you'll be a step closer than they got.
But yeah, I don't think it matters that you can't understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
Her emotion is very evident and just adds to like the whole like euphoric, dreamy just outburst, really.
Yeah.
Like it's the joy is so immense that, you know, we're babbling and we're blurbling and we're not really making sense.
I did get some lyrics, I thought, from the third track, Ice Blink Luck.
Yep.
And I think some of these songs are love songs. Like half of them are love songs.
I mean, they must be.
And
What else is to produce this feeling, if not love?
my favorite moment starts at 153 in track 4. And I feel like that moment encompasses like the skill of this group of people. Because like they do this, there's like a crescendo moment starting from that point. And when it all comes together, I almost had like an emotional experience, like
Really?
listening to it. It brings in that guitar solo, and then she's like doing her oohs and ahs, and it just felt like such a high point
Yeah.
in this album, and it's perfectly placed to lead in to the title track, Heaven or Las Vegas. Heaven or Las Vegas, like they
snapped on that.
they snapped on Heaven or Las Vegas. They snapped on this record, and I feel like they really brought it all together. Everything they were talking about, what they're trying to convey with the concept of Heaven or Las Vegas. Like, I didn't fully understand until I listened to it, and I was just like, "Oh, that's what I think. This is what they mean." What do you think they mean by Heaven or Las Vegas? Did you give it any thought? Because to me, it's profound.
Heaven or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I think it means like, is this the real shit or is this like the fake?
Yeah.
Is this some fake shit?
Yeah. And does it matter?
Oh.
Like Las Vegas is all lights, shimmering, city never sleeps, whatever. It's like intense. It's pure capitalism, like fictitious. It's not real joy.
Yeah.
And then you have heaven, which is real joy. Right. So you're listening to this and you're in this state of bliss, and it kind of makes you reflect.
Right.
Like, is this just like are you lying to yourself? You know, are you experiencing real joy in your life?
Yeah.
Or is it just Las Vegas? Is it just the lights? Is it just on the surface?
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it as a concept to think about. Like picture it.
No, that's dope. I did not think of it that deeply, but I wish I did before this moment, because that is really beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song is amazing. That's the peak on a blissful album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're at the top.
Yeah.
When you get there.
It's perfectly placed right in the center of attention. And
right. Is there 10 songs?
Yeah. And it provides everything that you could ask for from what they came to do, you know?
I feel like the first half, I don't want to say is better, but more memorable.
Right.
The first, 5 songs are great tracks. And I think the next 5, I don't quite remember them.
Yeah. I do remember it's still like consistently warm, and like it's very easy on the ears. This is not by no means like a difficult listen. It's 37 minutes, 10 songs, and it's just kind of like bliss. It's very blissful. Heaven or Las Vegas, Cocteau Twins. I gave this album a 7.4 out of 10.
Out of 10. Nice. I gave it an 8. 8 out of 10. I really like this album.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a great feel good album. I love albums that make you feel good. But no, this was a great album. It's their, premiere work.
Yeah.
It's the album that people consider their greatest album, their greatest project. There's some fans that are really intense and really like super fans of the Cocteau Twins, and they claim that this album, because it was their first major release, that they scaled back some of their sound. So apparently in some of their earlier projects before the release of this album, like the guitar was even more distorted, and the singing and the sounds were even more just like shoegazy, and not only is it shoegaze, but it's considered dream pop, right? Like going back to what I just said about liking pop, like this is, it's a type of pop music.
Yeah. On to the Weeknd.
Cool.
On to Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Hurry Up Tomorrow.
So this album, I'm pretty sure Abel said,
oh, that's his name, right? I forget.
It's the end of a trilogy.
He's also got a name. Shout out Aubrey. The end of a trilogy starting with After Hours.
Yeah. And I mean, you can kind of see the themes here, like the theme of just kind of face cover.
Yeah.
I did want to re-listen to the trilogy in order. I didn't get around to that, but I'm sure I will because I loved After Hours. This After Hours, I probably listened to the most of his discography. And then Don FM, also a big fan. It was cool having Jim Carrey on there. These are like just some great songs.
Oh yeah,
there's so many great songs on here.
I totally forgot about the Jim Carrey fucking
the cameo.
That was so good.
And Hurry Up Tomorrow, man.
Here we go. Hurry Up Tomorrow.
This is such a great album, bro.
Yeah.
I love this album, bro.
Yeah.
I think this is his magnum opus. I think this is his best work, and I think it's going to be hard for him to top this in his career. I think The Weeknd should retire right here.
Right. This is like
like obviously, absolutely not. Do not retire. Like I would hate that if he retired. So he has a lyric on here. He doesn't want to live past 34.
I heard that.
I'm pretty sure he released this on his birthday when he turned 35.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. But man, it's long. I'll give you that it's long. But it's just, there's so much incredible stuff on this. Sounds like the production, composition. This reminds me last week when we reviewed Drake and Party Next Door. It was so many people who worked on that and it fell flat. I feel like this is an example of there's so many people who worked on this, and like I hear it in every single song. There's so much care, so much talent, so much skill, so much focus on creating something almost beyond words, bro. Like there's so many incredible moments throughout this album, bro.
Yeah. I think the album like moves within like sounds. Like I think the way that it's constructed and like laid out song by song, it is long, but it feels wavy almost.
Yeah.
You could feel the tides, and the emotion, and not just within the track itself, but like all throughout. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it's a great it's a great dance album, you
Right.
know? Like it's a great dance album. Anything that makes you move, I'm all for.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple ways to look at it. Like in terms of a dance album, it's great. In terms of like the storytelling, it's great. You know, in terms of the vocal performances, from any perspective you want to poke and pry at this album, you're just going to find more great things about it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's super theatrical.
Yeah. I thought of it, it's yeah, very theatrical. It's almost like it's not a soundtrack to a movie. It like is the movie.
Right.
You
100%.
know what I mean?
100%.
It's an audio movie.
Very emotional, very intense. I think The Weeknd comes across on this like in so much pain and like he's so lost, and that's I find it like kind of funny. Like these songs, like it sounds like they want you to dance, they want you to get up and move. If you hear The Weeknd's trying to make you cry, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
The Weeknd is trying to tear you down and build you up again with like the way the themes on this, like drug abuse, addiction, suicide. And he's just like tortured on this album. He sounds tortured.
He does. It's kind of like a scene in a movie that takes place in like the 80s in Miami, and the character is just like, you know, at his lowest depths.
Yeah.
Right? But like in this city that's so loud and so like colorful and so like fast paced.
Right,
and, like,
right.
he's just like lost and dazed and like unconscious basically. But yeah, he does sound tortured on this. And yeah, that's what it sounds like. It just sounds like fucking dancing through the pain almost, you know?
Right. I feel like it's kind of like, and especially like the first 5 songs particularly,
they're strong. It's a strong start.
Very strong start. I want to say about Wake Me Up, it comes in, I think that has the most dark, like depressing lyrics right off the bat. He comes at you with no afterlife, no other side. Play smile, live fully. When life is hard, I know death's easy. So it's like he's done. He's given up all hope, right? Like he's showing you, this is it for me. I'm ready to go. Life has been terrible. Like this is all sucked and it's been miserable. There's nothing waiting for me on the other side, and like it's gonna be peaceful. I'm with that.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the opposite, with Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is like a beautiful ballad that refers back to that intro lyrically. I don't know the exact lyrics, but it's like welcoming to heaven and that. Yeah. So it's starting off super dark, and he's kind of bringing it at the end to like, I think he just didn't want to end on like such a dark and pessimistic note. And Hurry Up Tomorrow is just, it's really bright, and it's a beautiful vocal performance from him.
Do you know the song that he's like sampling or referencing to?
No.
So I don't remember the name. I think the name of the song is Hurry Up Tomorrow, but it's sampled on the second to last song, like in the very beginning. It's I don't even know what instrument that is, but it's like a is titled Hurry Up Tomorrow and is sampled on Without a Warning. But that got me thinking about like the phrase Hurry Up Tomorrow and like what the original song is.
Yeah.
The original song is, it sounds kind of haunting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like just the sound of it. But yeah, I like when I realized that, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Snaps on this, but yeah, there's a lot of people who worked on this, and props to all of you guys, and thank you for what you guys did here, because it's beautiful. These first 5 songs, right? You got I Can't Fucking Sing. That's a fun, like, I like that as an interlude. And there's like a couple moments where you peek into what's going on in his life with, there's an audio recording of someone calling him. I can't remember which song it's on. Do you remember that, where you can hear him, you can hear The Weeknd like with a glass drinking, and she's just like, you didn't look like yourself. Like, I know you're in that hotel room getting fucked up again. Like, and then I remember the end of it is like, what does it even feel like in terms of like whatever he's doing, like the vices that he's got going on. And then the next track he comes in, it feels like the first lyric is like, it feels like me and you are one. And there's so much, like, all the transitions on this album are exceptional. From Open Hearts to Opening Night to Reflections Laughing, those 3 songs I know are all connected. Opening Night is haunting. Like, I remember feeling like kind of disturbed, like a little bit freaked out of kind of the imagery that he was putting out. He's kind of talking about a relationship. They're like in a fight. It's like, why do you always have to pick a fight with me? And it's like, and it's my opening night. And it seems like it's like before a big show, and he's kind of being tortured by the people around him. And he's talking about these demons, this darkness. And there's so many different ways he visualizes it, to the point where I'm not sure if he's talking about real people that are like hunting him down, or he's talking about, I think it's more likely to be pain within. And I feel like he associates it to multiple different things. And one of them that sticks out is like, he's feeling numb. And that numbness, I think, represents like his passion for music. And then when I visualize that in like the love songs and those moments where he's talking about a relationship, to me, it's like his relationship with music, you know, and his relationship with performing and being a performer and being a famous star. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And he doesn't have the same love for it. So
it feels like all of these emotions that you're describing, like you feel them on the album, and you feel them, they feel real.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing I'm wondering as you're talking is that I feel like The Weeknd is a very theatrical performer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like starting with After Hours, I don't even know if before After Hours, he like had costumes,
right,
you know, for his releases, right? He had like a whole costume for After Hours, costume for Dawn FM. So that makes me think like, okay, he's performing.
Yeah.
Right? How much of this album and the emotions on this album do you think are part of that performance and this like trilogy, maybe this character that he's presenting?
Right.
And or how much of that is actually like really him and what he's going through? And before you answer that, I think hearing you talk about like the emotion in this album makes me think of the Drake album and Drake in general.
Right.
Because I feel like one critique that I have and a lot of people have about Drake is his invulnerability, right? And his emotionlessness, and nothing feels authentic and genuine. But on that album, Some Sexy Songs for You, as our most like releases with Drake, it feels like he's trying to be vulnerable, you know, and he's trying to like appear vulnerable, but it doesn't feel genuine at all. And oftentimes I wonder, like, is it just me like not really understanding what somebody at this level of fame can go through, you know, because it just sounds disconnected from like what us everyday folk go through, right?
Right.
But you hear albums like Damn by Kendrick, right? Or maybe even this by The Weeknd, where it's like these artists are describing the pain of being at a certain level of fame.
Yeah.
And that feels real compared to Drake. When Drake talks about his problems, it's just like, shut the fuck up, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So boom. We go through Wake Me Up, dark, depressing. Cry for Me. He's talking about us as fans. Like he's like, I'm knocking on heaven's door. I'm done. I'm dying. I just hope that you cry for me like I cried for you, and like I did all throughout my career in my music. I laid it all on the floor, and I just hope that you play my songs and you just express, something. Just cry for me. Beautiful song. I can't fucking sing. Fun little interlude going into Sao Paulo, which I think is one of the bigger bangers on this. Man, I think it's just stellar production and like song composition.
Yeah.
Super fun song. And
one I thought it was a fun song, but my one critique about it is the inclusion of Brazilian funk. Because it wasn't just one song.
Oh.
It was at least two.
Oh.
That I felt like there was some like Brazilian funk vibes, and like I love Brazilian funk, but the inclusion of it on this album feels like he's following a trend. Feels like he's like going after a TikTok trend, because Brazilian funk I feel like got super popular and trending on TikTok,
right?
And people, it, like that one inclusion just feels more trendy and performative than it is like genuine. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think like I hear what you're saying, and I would have an issue with it if it isn't such a great song. Like right. It's a banger song, yeah. And it still has depth and messages in there. And then it goes into another interlude, which I think like the first 5 songs tell a story where he's really sad, but he's still a performer and he has this crazy life. And then Until We're Skin and Bones, it has like this choppy like and then it gets quiet, and then it goes into Baptized in Fear, which I think is the saddest song on this album. He's talking about ODing in his bathtub and like drowning in the water, and these demons in the corner coming closer, and it's just a kind of a visualization of the Weeknd. I don't know if this is a real experience or just a feeling, but he just paints a picture of him overdosing in his bathroom and dying.
Have you ever seen The Devil?
No. You?
I think so.
What do you look like?
Me.
Oh shit.
That is a fire line.
Who said that?
Me.
You said that?
Yeah.
So I got to thinking about this album, this song, Baptized in Fear. And to me, I think it means that this is when he's kind of changing his ways. Like this is when he starts trying to fight back the darkness that he showed us in the first 5 songs. And he's like, this is the lowest point. So, right. So those first 5 songs are like showing the darkness and his vices and his pain. And then 6 is a rebirth where he's at the lowest point. He's dying in this tub and he's baptized, which is like, I think in Catholicism and in baptism is you're meant to be reborn. You go in the water and you come out reborn, a new person. So the fear that he felt in those moments, his final moments in that tub, drowning and overdosing, is what baptized him to want his life to change and be different. The only issue I have with this album is I feel like after Reflections Laughing, Enjoy the Show, Giving Up on Me, I Can't Wait to Get There, I feel like it starts to slow down a little bit with like the themes, and like it's still great songs in terms of the production and the vocal performances. But I think he kind of like the messages aren't as striking to me as they were in these first, like literally the first 9 songs were like so much striking imagery and like aggressive kind of themes, and the Weeknd really telling you a lot of what's going on, and then you get less of that.
They could have been cut.
I think they could have, just because we're talking about an hour and a half. So I don't think there's that much fluff. But
Yeah,
I think
the
it would
hour
be
and a
in
half
those.
seems unnecessary. Like I think it seemed I like my guess is that because the album is so theatrical, like it makes sense if you're making an album that sounds like this for it to be like, yeah, I could justify it being long
Yeah,
because it's so theatrical.
I guess it's on the end of Reflections laughing. We get a verse from Travis.
Yeah.
I think that verse is the best thing Travis Scott has done.
I loved it.
It was so good. Like, I don't know.
I did not expect it.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I mean, you got to hear that. You got to
You know
listen
what
to
it
that.
sounded like? One of my favorite Travis projects is he's featured on this James Blake song.
Yeah.
The fuck was it called? Mile High.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs.
That's a banger song. Yeah.
And I love Travis's verse and performance on that song.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Travis snaps on this. Travis went crazy.
What did you think about the Future in the next song? I said the Future.
The feature. Oh, Future. You're talking about Future? Was Future on the next one?
I think it was the very next one he's featured on it.
Right. Enjoy the show. I didn't. So this is when the album starts to like slow down for me, and I think Future was part of it. I don't care for his performance. I don't think he had anything to add. Like Travis, I feel like he added something. He gave something, provided something for the album. I don't think Future did that. I don't think he had to be there. I don't think that song has to be there. But there is a section, the instrumental kind of goes hard. There's like a part with some wood blocks. They're hitting some wood blocks, and it goes fucking hard. So like that's what I'm saying. It's just like even the songs that I don't really care for, there's still some fire instrumental stuff going on. Timeless. Is that Playboy Cardi?
Ever since I was legit,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be legit. That song has been out for a while before the album.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is Playboy Cardi.
Thought it was fine. I thought that song was fine.
I really liked that song.
When it gets to Big Sleep, I feel like that's when it kind of comes back with like a lot of strength, hard hitting imagery and just like powerful stuff.
I like the Big Sleep.
And then Give Me Mercy, bro. I love Give Me Mercy.
I can't remember it. It was good.
Yeah, give me mercy, give me peace, give me something. And he's like asking for like forgiveness.
Yeah.
Almost. He's like that's what you do. Like he's looking up. I think he says it himself. Like I look up to the sky and I ask for mercy. So at the start of Give Me Mercy, there's these horns that I thought were interesting because it reminded me of like there'll be like pictures of heaven and it'll be like babies with like trumpets and stuff. I feel like that's what it was trying to emulate when it went from Big Sleep into that. It was like Big Sleep, death, dying. He's those trumpets are heaven's gates. Those horns are heaven's gates, and that's what I got out of it. And then the rest of the song, Give Me Mercy, he's there. You know, he's at the gates and he's asking for forgiveness to be led into heaven and stuff. Really beautiful song. You got Drive. Man, I didn't like Drive.
No.
He just wants to drive. Like to me, when he was recording this, I feel like someone should have just been like, "Hey man, here's the keys. You don't have to keep asking, bro. Like you are allowed to drive."
It sounds like a weird little like interjection in this.
Right. Yeah.
Especially looking at the titles.
Right.
I have Big Sleep, Give Me Mercy, The Abyss.
Drive. Right. Oh, you forgot about Drive. No, we didn't forget about Drive.
Maybe he's dead and he's like, damn, I wish I could drive one more time.
You know what? Now that you're saying that, right? You got Big Sleep, Give Me Mercy. He was at the gates and he was begging to be let in. He was begging for mercy. Maybe he didn't get that.
Yeah.
And now
he's being driven to the abyss. But why drive? He's doing the driving.
Well, he's saying he just wants to drive.
Maybe he's at the gates. He's like, give me mercy. And God is like, here it is. And he's like, fuck that. Back to drive.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. Because so he talks about autonomy. He drops the word autonomy. He's like, I really love autonomy.
He says that?
Yeah.
I really love autonomy.
Yeah. And actually this song...
Is that a transformer?
No, autonomy is like the ability to have free will and choice.
Do you believe we have free will?
No.
You think everything is predetermined?
Yeah. I'm a determinist.
Nice.
So, but when I was listening to Drive, actually, I don't really love the song. I think it's too repetitive. I think there's so many things that rhyme with Drive that could fit the theme and it would be easier to listen to. I don't like hearing the same line over and over. But with Drive, I thought
Survive.
he kind of added a layer to the album in terms of escapism. And it made me think that the whole album is about escapism.
Uh-huh.
And he's struggling to have his own slice of life while being this huge star.
Uh-huh.
And he's, you know, coping through like all the wrong vices when all he really wants to do is drive.
The Weeknd on this album sounds like somebody who is like, you know, very much like a determined by his addictions or vices, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess going back to determinism, right? Maybe that's what this album is about
Could
ultimately,
be.
right? Like how much agency
Does Nietzsche have
or
credits on this?
autonomy
Nietzsche might have some
do
credits on
we
it.
have?
There's a lot of names.
And it sounds like he's saying like, you know, he doesn't have a lot of autonomy because there's moments on this album, and especially from what you described, that there's like peaks of light, right? There's like peaks through the clouds where it's like, oh, I see what I must do, or I see like what I yeah. But ultimately he's like back into the vices, back into the crazy shit.
Back into the abyss, which is another dark song. He's fallen in this cavernous hole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I feel like he put some imagery of him like seeing someone up in the distance and he's falling down into the darkness. And
Sisyphus.
I thought Sisyphus was the one with the rolling the ball up the mountain.
That is
Oedipus?
Oh shit, that is Sisyphus.
Yeah, Sisyphus.
I was thinking Icarus.
Icarus is flying too
Icarus
close.
is the one that was
to the
flying,
sun.
yeah. Oh, I've gotten them confused for so long.
Are you excited for the movie?
What movie?
I think Nolan got The Odyssey.
The Odyssey, yeah. I'm excited. Cast is stacked.
Yeah.
Nolan is great. There's a still of Matt Damon. I think Matt Damon is Odysseus.
Yeah.
And there's a still of him with a helmet. And there's a lot of discourse about how that's historically the wrong helmet, and how Hollywood loves, whenever it's like ancient Greek, they love the feathered striped helmet,
but
how that's not. It would have been that apparently the historically accurate type of helmet is called a boar husk helmet or something like that, boar tusk.
Yeah.
And people are like, please, could we get a boar tusk? So
hopefully the people get that. I mean, I don't fucking care. It's a fucking helmet, bro. It's going to cover his head. What is it going to cover his head?
Yeah. So final thoughts on Hurry Up Tomorrow? You really liked it.
I really liked it. Can you see? Oh, you probably haven't seen. I do want to shout Lana Del Rey real quick at the end of Abyss.
Yeah.
Because she was so warm and gentle on this, and just like beautiful performance. And I thought she was great in terms of like the moment she had and what she brought.
Mm-hmm.
It was short, but I really liked hearing her here in the last part, the last section of the album.
Shout out Lana. Great duo. Great mixture of two artists, The Weeknd and Lana. So what'd you rate this album?
Wait, I'm actually not done. Because Red Terror, he talks about, I'm pretty sure he's talking about his relationship with his mom and how he's failed her. And I thought that was a really beautiful song. And it's like leading up to this ending where he's really regretting everything, you know? He's regretting all of his mistakes. And it's leading up to the Hurry Up Tomorrow moment, kind of like the victory walk of him saying like, I've turned another page. I'm ready for the next chapter of my life, and I'm ready to move on. So he's kind of like leaving out, and he tells like a whole story in Red Terror about his upbringing and his life, and I feel like that's a big song kind of leading up to the finale of him. He kind of finally laid all his cards out throughout this album, and it's a rebirth of The Weeknd. And you know, if even a fraction of these themes, the stuff that he talks about on this, the pain that he's going through, is true, then like I hope through this album and through releasing this that he can find some peace, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, earlier you mentioned that the last song is like hopeful,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I think the phrase itself, hurry up tomorrow, is like tomorrow's never going to happen.
Right.
Because it's always going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like tomorrow's never going to come. So it's peaceful or it's hopeful, but it's like a hope that is never going to like come into fruition.
Right.
Almost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hurry Up Tomorrow, The Weeknd. I rated this album a 9.
Nice.
Yeah. 9.
I'm curious now that you mentioned that it was a trilogy, like I'm curious to listen to the 3 albums consecutively, because I really like Dawn FM and the whole structure of the album, the whole concept of the album.
Mm-hmm.
The radio station was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give this album, I would give it an 8. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool, man.
I definitely want to listen to it again with a little more focus than I did the first time. Especially hearing you and all you had to say about the album.
Yeah.
I had a discussion recently with someone about The Weeknd, and they were like, you know, I never really liked The Weeknd, and I feel like it's interesting to see his sound progress since when he first, you know, came about. And I feel like, yeah, like if you don't like that old Weeknd sound, I think that's justified, you know. And I think that the person I was talking to had just, you know, hadn't heard like these last 3 albums, for example, right? And like how his sound has changed, and just assumed like, oh, there's a new Weeknd record. Like I don't really like The Weeknd, but yeah, I think The Weeknd's great. I really want you to listen to the sample that I mentioned.
Yeah, Hurry Up Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Should we listen to it?
Yeah.
Are we done? Cut.
Peace.
See you next week. Love you guys. Drop some comments. Tell us what have you guys listened to the albums we've reviewed so far? We got 4. There'll be 4 up by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah. What do you think about The Weeknd? What do you think about his discography and, you know, the trajectory? Have you heard of the Cocteau twins before? Have you seen that album cover? The album cover, we didn't even mention the album cover of the Cocteau twins.
Yeah, it's a nice cover.
That album out. You know, it fits the sound so perfectly.
Yeah.
As does this album cover, TBH. Yeah, drop a comment. Check out the next episode.
Like, subscribe.
And tell your mom about it.
Tell your mom about it. She'll like it.
She'll love this shit.
I think so.